about that delay. Can you hear me, Paul? Hey, Paul, can you hear me okay? Okay. Welcome aboard, everybody. Sorry for that 3-minute delay. This is John Fromm. Happy to bring you today's coverage of this section game between the 4 seed, the Hopkins Royals, and the 5 seed, obviously, Benilde-St. Margaret's. Little backup on 394 with a closed lane caused me to be a little late, but we'll get things going here. And for the Red Knights, here's Grace Bazal for the Hopkins Royals, going to circle it in her own zone. She's one of the captains for the Royals. Pushes it ahead and down, and Rachel St. Clair dumps it in for the Royals. St. Clair, another one of the captains, number 2, pursues into the corner there, along with Patterson as well. Here is St. Clair, one of the leading scorers. Back to the point, and a hard slap shot goes wide by Bazal. She scored 22 goals, number 6 on the season, with 9 assists, and is their number 1 defenseman for Coach Erickson's team. Back out to the point, line change. Julia Stellis comes in for Hopkins on the change at D and fires a nice wrister that goes high. She's going to peel off as well here as the Royals finish a change. Good hold on the backside there by Hope Doctor. Doctor, number 8 for the Royals. Puck is going to get whacked out towards center ice, and the Red Knights are going to change all 5 of their players on the fly. Royals still keep their forward unit out there. Puck is dumped down by, I believe that's Gunther. Gunther for the Royals, working behind the BSM net, where she's being harassed by Crystal Sorum, and there's Grace Peluso on the back check. Thrown out to the point, and a really nice stop out front, and a rebound nicely done by Anna DiGiulio in the nets for BSM. As the puck gets brought into the Hopkins zone. Sammy Dieterding over there. Dieterding getting some help with Sorum. Sorum in the corner being harassed by Kate Glover. Kate gets the puck ahead, and indeed this is Annika Peterson for the Royals. Wrist shot thrown on net, and DiGiulio going to glove that, hold it for a while, make the decision to give it up. And then the Red Knights D core is going to change. We're going to have the puck as being played by a high stick. So glad you could join us today for this first round matchup in the quarterfinals as you take a look at Peterson's wrist shot thrown on net to DiGiulio. Anna's played every game in net for the Red Knights. She's 9-14-2 on the year with a 2.94 goals against. And her partner in crime for the Royals, Molly Dion, the senior goalkeeper, 8-8-1 with a 2.54. So a couple of good senior and a junior goalie here participating today. After the face-off, puck is pushed down into the Benilde-St. Margaret's end, where the Red Knights are going to circle the wagons. A 360 behind her own net, and again here is Gabby Hewson, just going to check it up off the glass and move it towards center ice. Bazal, as we mentioned, with the puck for the Royals. She's going to throw it off the dasher board hard, and it's going to be redirected into the BSM zone. Good battle behind the Red Knights net. Pumped ahead to Zanny Swedberg. Here's Swedberg, number 7. She's just going to dump it down, and she's going to peel off on another change for BSM. And the Royals indeed will try to redirect and go back on their side. Rachel St. Clair, number 2 out there for Hopkins as she's going to swoop. Here's Glover behind her own net. She's going to try to chip it up to Sween. Unable to do so. Puck goes to the net. Julia Stellis going to wrap it in behind the net for the Red Knights. Puck thrown over into the corner. Here is Nylander. And Sween. So the records on the season for both of these teams, Benilde-St. Margaret's 9-14-2, and they are the 5th seed today, as we mentioned. Hopkins 11-12-1, but they had the unfortunate task the last 2 regular season games. Hopkins played the number 1 team in the state in Minnetonka and number 3 in Maple Grove. And folks, the number 1 team in the section is Minnetonka, and the number 2 team is Maple Grove. So you got Two of the top 3 teams in the state in this section. Of course, Benilde won it last year. Second in the state for the Red Knights. Off the face-off draw, BSM retains possession behind their zone. Here's Samantha Dieterding with the puck as well as she pushes it over. Sydney Simone out there along with her partner. This is the Simone, Swedberg, and Connery line for BSM. And here's Stellis with speed. Left-handed shooter gets it up towards the Royal blue line, but not able to break it in. We're going to have an offside whistle here. The Swedberg, Simone, and Connery line for BSM, which was just out there, has combined on the year for 31 goals for the top unit for BSM as we have a momentary break over there as Coach Dave Herbst wants a ruling from the 2 officials. Coach Herbst, obviously a veteran, longtime head coach. 197 wins on this career for Coach Herbst. He's assisted by Bill Gorel, Gino Peluso, and also by Bob Gella. And we do have a penalty whistled, and I believe it is going to be on number 19. Indeed, it is on Sammy Dieterding. Bench too many players on the ice, and Dieterding is going to serve. So first power play of the game for the Royals, and they're going to camp Rachel St. Clair in front of the net. Here's Bazal at the point, operating as she will as the quarterback of the power play. Grace Bazal's wrist shot goes off of Zanny Swedberg's stick, but the Royals are able to keep it in their own zone. Kate Glover also out there on the power play, and here's number 10. Here's number 10 with a hard shot, Kylie Hanley. She had her steered away. Hanley again here, has a little space on the side, throws it out front. Rachel St. Clair goes hard to the net and also redirects that right on goal. So good work that time by Rachel as well as the whole crew there. We should mention number 2, Rachel St. Clair for Hopkins, who's out there on the power play, who just shot that. Coach Erickson told me that it was really doubtful she was going to play today. She's one of their top players and a Division I recruit, and she's missed the last 6 games, so they're happy to have number 2 back. Thrown out off the face-off win. Here is Boyd. It looks like, I believe, the young lady we just mentioned, Rachel St. Clair, was in the crease there, so they're going to throw the face-off out to the blue line. Corbin Boyd's also out there for the Royals, number 5, if you watch her, fans. She's signed a full scholarship to go to Mankato next year, so she's taking the draw right here, Corbin. The long, flowing blonde locks, also one of the captains on the team. Here's Bazal waiting for Hanley to stay on line there, and Hanley does stay on side. Back to the point, Boyd. Bazal, wrist shot goes around and goes all the way around, but fortunately for the Royals, Boyd's going to be able to hang on to it. Boyd to Bazal. Corbin Boyd. Rachel St. Clair still camped in front of the BSM net, trying to get a redirect here. Fake of a slap shot, and Bazal still going to fake it. Shallow angle. Back to Bazal. Wrist shot thrown on net, hits bodies out front as there was 2 Red Knights as well as 2 Royals. Nice job on the sidewall there by Boyd, keeping it in. Boyd again with the puck. Back to Bazal. Bazal. Wrist shot again, and chips high and over the net. Oh, and unfortunately that's going to go in for Hopkins as well, as the Royals are going to hit one on the board here as the Bazal shot goes high off Anna Giulio, pops in the air, and then it goes right over. So you take a look there. Bazal's going to take the pass from Boyd. High wrister, hits high on the glove and blocker, it looks like, Paul. Might have even hit her back and then and then bounced in. So good camera work here by Kurt on the camera. Good to have Kurt and Paul with us today. They haven't covered enough games this week, I don't think. 5 games, I think, in 5 days for you gentlemen. I hope you enjoy your Sunday off. Is it 6? Wow, 6 games. And I was only involved in 2 of them, but you're going to have a day off Sunday here, as we're joining you on Saturday, February 7th. Looks like the officially Kylie Hanley and Corbin Boyd going to get the assists on the goal from Grace Bazal, her 23rd goal of the season for number 6. Here's Boyd still on the draw for the Royals. She's matched up against Grace Peluso there. Back to the point, here's Glover. Glover and Bazal. thrown out front. I should mention also during the break there was another penalty whistled on BSM. That's why Hopkins remains on the power play, as they did get one power play goal. But number 23, Amanda Olson, or excuse me, number 23, Gabby Hewson, another. Gabrielle Hewson gets the penalty. 2 minutes for interference. So just what the Royals wanted and what BSM wanted to stay away from. Boyd and Bazal playing catch, thrown down, loaded, and a couple of shots on net, and indeed banged at by Kylie Hanley. Kylie thinks it went in, but it's behind the net there. So Kylie Hanley really jabbing at it at the door here. Here's Kylie, whack one time, 2, 3, and you see Rachel St. Clair also out there. Megan Cornell defensively tried to shut her down for BSM. 1:12 remaining in the power play for the Royals. Once again, this is Section 6 AA quarterfinal hockey action. The Hopkins Royals at Benilde. Hard slap shot by Bazal, goes hard off the interior there of Crystal Sorum and goes harmlessly into the corner. Bazal still on top of the umbrella here. She's got Glover on the near side, back and forth. Glover hasn't really touched the puck here. I don't know if they're using her as a decoy. Throw it again to the net. She's going to pinch down Glover and get the puck as it hit off a Red Knight defender. A lot of bodies in front. Rachel St. Clair trying to camp out in front and really screen DiGiulio. She's able to do that. She sets a pick almost here. Nicely done by St. Clair. Puck goes wildly into the corners. Unfortunately for Hanley, could not get a clean piece of that. Boyd again here with just 15 seconds remaining. Here's Hanley. Boyd back to Bazal. Only 10 seconds remaining. Boyd to the middle. Wrist shot thrown wide of the net. Picked up by Sorum, and that's just going to be about it for Gabby Hewson's power penalty. Gabby races onto the ice, and BSM is at full strength. She goes all the way over to the bench, and she's going to be joined. So BSM at full strength. They're able to kill off 1 of 2 on the day. And Crystal Sorum going to just gently backhand that puck towards center ice and get off on a change, as the same penalty kill unit was out there almost for the entire 3.5 minutes. Good speed that time by Anika Patterson, as Anika went behind the net and actually was the first one to the puck after DiGiulio stopped it. High wrist shot goes off the upper shoulder, it looked like, of DiGiulio, as Patterson got quite a bit on that wrister. So play pretty much all down in the Benilde-St. Margaret's end. The shots on goal officially 13-1 so far in the period. Of course, the power play has helped as well, but DiGiulio's been equal to the task, except for the one shot that hit up on her shoulder and went in over her back. But I guess you'd have to say not only is Hopkins the 4 seed, but certainly the prohibitive favorite. Hopkins ranked 14th in the state, as you take a look at our nice camera work here by Kurt. And I think Kurt's been with Paul every day of the week on broadcasts. I don't know if that, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but I think, yeah, he's got the Hard Hat Award along with Paul Broden, our director and manager at Channel 16 in the truck. Back to live action for the Royals. Still down in the BSMM. BSM going to try to circle it out and break it out towards their own blue line. Slapped at towards center ice and whacked off the boards. 2-on-2 play thrown on net that time by Stella Haberman, excuse me, for Hopkins. Haberman, number 9. That second unit for Hopkins is Hope Doctor, number 8, Stella Haberman, number 9, and Stephanie Sween, number 3. The main unit, excuse me, this is the first unit for Hopkins. Kylie Hanley, number 10, Boyd, 5, and Annika Patterson, as we mentioned, number 4. Is all back there on defense again. Coach Erickson told me she might play 30 minutes tonight, so she plays all the time. Here's Rachel St. Clair. The aforementioned Rachel falls hard into the boards there. She loses an edge. Looks like she's okay, though. Hanley forechecking on the far wall. Taken away by BSM. They've got a 3-on-3 opportunity here. Let's see if the Red Knights can take advantage here. Thrown out front, a little redirect goes nowhere, unfortunately, as the puck was shot from Sydney Simone over to Swedberg. Swedberg back to the point. Oh, thrown towards the net, but Megan Truman's wrist shot hit one of the pads, and here comes Sydney Simone. thrown out front. Sydney going to steal that and then whack it off the glass there. The Swedberg line changes fully, as does the Boyd line for Hopkins. Boyd getting some help from her friends there. Patterson's still out there. She hasn't peeled off yet. Doctor behind the BSM net. Here's Hope Doctor, really low to the ground, low center of gravity for Hope. She's already gone all the way around the net. Oh, Hope Doctor going to get credited for the goal there as it goes off one of the BSM defenders' sticks, gets redirected in the goal there. And Hope skated all the way around the net and then got the goal. And I'm sure we got a nice shot of that from, went off the skate there. So for Hope Doctor, officially her 4th goal of the year. And that was at the 2:35 mark. So 2-0 on the 14th shot of the game. And I believe that was number 22, Megan Truman, whose stick had hit off and redirected behind the net. So not a thing DiGiulio could do about that. Little confusion by the officials as they're going to try to get the right numbers here. Here is Doctor takes the draw against Sorum. 8 versus 21. We mentioned BSM was the state runner-up last year. We've called, I believe, one of the girls' games from Benilde earlier in the year. They lost, I believe, 7 seniors last year, including Kelly Panic, who's overstarring for the Minnesota Gophers as a freshman, one of their leading scorers. But big crew lost, and the Red Knights have had some challenges this year and struggles. Back to live action. Stellis going to wrap it off the boards and all the way down. Potential icing, but one of the Royals players made contact with the puck. Sorum battling hard against Glover in the Hopkins net here. Here's Sorum again, getting some help with Swedberg. Swedberg still with the puck. Oh, throws it out front, goes through a set of legs. Fortunately for BSM, Swedberg's pass held in that time by Hewson. Gabby Hewson going to have to chase that down as that's iced all the way down, I believe, by Annika Patterson, but icing waved off there. And here is Hewson. Just came off for serving a 2-minute minor for interference. Gabby really good back check against Corbin Boyd. Corbin a little stop and go move behind the BSM net, getting some help from Hanley. Hanley and puck just going to go aimlessly towards the Hopkins area there. Chipped off the boards and all the way to the far blue line, where unfortunately for the Royals, Rachel St. Clair is offside. We mentioned, not a surprise that Hopkins was executing so well on the power play. They entered the game 27% on the power play for the year, and I believe they added 1 power play goal, nearly another, and really had dramatic time of possession advantage. They also, on a skill side, are really good at penalty kills. They're killing at 87% for the Royals. Here is Bazal with some speed. 3-on-2 for the Royals. Grace Bazal out front, redirect on a nice wrist shot, slap shot by Rachel St. Clair. Kind of more of a snap shot instead of a wrist shot, slap shot. Oh, and there's a hard hit towards center ice. We're not going to see that, unfortunately, where our camera is. But right below us by the penalty box doors, I believe that's Grace Peluso. As you take a look at the redirect here, and I believe that was indeed a nice opportunity by Stephanie Sween there. But we are going to have a penalty on the Hopkins Royals, I believe. Number 6, Heather Moss, or excuse me, number 6, Grace Bazal going to get sacked with the penalty here. She's by far the best defender for the Hopkins Royals, so this is a loss. Just under a minute remaining in the period, and here's Hanley with big speed as she pursues. Oh, errant pass goes awry, and Boyd going to pick that off for the Royals. Cross angle pass doesn't click, but Swedberg going to start things the other way. Swedberg's cross angle diagonal pass towards center also tipped up by the Royals. And here is Sorum. Sorum and Swedberg out there. Sorum going to give it back to Swedberg as they play catch. Dump back to the blue line here at the point. Operating at top of the blue line there is number 5. Sydney Simone. Simone out at the point along with 15 Megan Cornell. Sydney's obviously normally a forward, and that'll pretty much wind it down for the end of the first period here. as nothing going in the last minute of the power play for Benilde. They're still going to carry over 1 minute and 4 seconds worth of power play advantage to the start of the second period. As for the Hopkins Royals, the 4 seed in the section, they pick up 2 first period goals, 1 on a power play and one on a nice play by Hope Doctor, who circled all the way around the nets, she worked all the way towards the blue line and then back down in, and then she shot it and it hit off a Red Knight skate and went in. The first goal, obviously, as well, was scored by Hopkins, and the Royals got that goal at the 11:29 mark, I believe, and that goal was credited officially to Grace Bazal, who got her 23rd goal of the year. She's a leading scorer. She's got 23 goals and 9 assists, and Paul, you'll love this, she's a defenseman. How often do you hear a defenseman with 22 goals? But I guess what Coach Erickson said is she's on the ice all the time. For BSM, their leading scorers, just real quickly, Zandy Swedberg with 14 goals, 12 assists, and Sydney Simone, number 5, also has 14 and 16. And then you're going to see Megan Cornell out there with Julia Stellis a lot on defense for the Red Knights. Crystal Sorum, also the 3rd leading scorer with 31 points for BSM. Remind you that other St. Louis Park, as well as Benilde-St. Margaret's games are seen here on ParkTV. Want to remember to tell Paul that if you do want to get a copy of this game or any of the games or find replay times, go to parktv.org for information and click on channel 16 or 14 for live web streaming, on-demand times, DVDs if you want to purchase one. That's Paul Broden's number up below if you have any feedback or want to purchase a DVD of the game today. And otherwise, we're going to step away momentarily here after one Section 6AA hockey action. The Hopkins Royals with a 14-1 shot advantage and 2-0 officially on the scoreboard. Stay with us here on 16 for second period action.
I remember the moment clearly.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
I realized at that moment, when we first saw the damage, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community. Together with local responders, we cleared trees and collapsed walls. We had to get to the family trapped beneath. As a citizen soldier, I made a difference.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Welcome back to Parade Ice Garden and this quarterfinal 6AA matchup between the Hopkins Royals, the 4 seed, and Benilde-St. Margaret's, the 5 seed. I'm John Fromm bringing you the call today. As I mentioned, Hopkins with a big 14-1 shot advantage in the first period. Once again, officially for the Royals, they get on the board with the power play goal from Grace Bazal, as I mentioned. She was assisted by Boyd and Hanley, part of that big first unit, Boyd and Hanley there. And then the other Hopkins goal, an even strength. Officially, I thought it was going to be credited to, it was credited to Hope Doctor, but on the board they have something else written here. So Hope Doctor actually gets the other goal, her 4th of the year, and that puts it at 2-0. We mentioned it's winner go home time, and Benilde hasn't had to go home very early in many of the last hockey seasons, but Coach Herbst has had a lot of challenges on his hands this year with not only a lot of graduations, but a couple of transfers. And he's got a few of his players that'll graduate. Oh, thank you, Paul, for putting up the bracket. I just wanted to point out that Minnetonka, number 1 in the section, number 1 in the state with a 17-4 record. Hopkins only lost to them 4-2 and 5-3. And then also, Paul, can you throw that up one more time? Oh, okay, no problem. And then anyway, and as I mentioned, Maple Grove, number 3 in the state, number 2 in the section. And then Wayzata, I believe, 7th in the state and 3rd in the section. So you got 2 of the top 3, 3 of the top 7 in the section. So it's just almost like 6AA for boys hockey, almost a mini state tournament, just to literally get to St. Paul. So we are back to live play here. Saturday afternoon crowd coming on in from the somewhat warm temperatures. We've had obviously a great 5-6 weeks of warm weather. The ice is frozen cold indoors here, though. After face-off win, Benilde-St. Margaret's behind their own end, or should be behind the Royals end, throws it out to the point. A little back check that time, and Swedberg going to pick it up. Zanny going to pick it up at the side and drift it on in, where Dion going to play that. Molly Dion, kind of a shorter goalie. She's, as I mentioned, she's a senior, 8-8-1 on the year. They've also played Olivia Bazal, Grace's sister, who's also played goal for the Royals as well. And then Annika Carlander, who I'm very familiar with. Her mother, Karen, went to high school and graduated with me from St. Louis Park. So good opportunity for BSM there. As we mentioned, they were on the power play to start the period, and Crystal Sorum with a nice pass out front. So your Crystal working away here. Goes to the backhand, puts it on one hand, and then backhand. A little chip out front, and Zanny almost wrapped that in for her 15th goal of the year. Here's Peluso on the draw for the Red Knights. Wins it cleanly, but unfortunately for her, Boyd's going to steal that puck away. Good offensive zone forecheck that time by Patterson for the Royals. She's harassing Cornell. And Cornell works it up the short wall on the far side here. And here's a break as well. And Hope Doctor had such speed. We saw that in the first period, number 8 for Hopkins, that she was hauled down there. As you see, she's going to get wristed right down. Almost just a harassment by Crystal Sorum. And Crystal's going to get sat out for the penalty. I personally don't think, I thought it was really minimal contact with the stick. But Hopkins going to go on that power play again and try to push it up even over 30% on the season. Back to the point, here's Glover. Glover out to Bazal. The same power play unit we saw in the first period for the Royals, with Boyd out there as well. Hanley on one side. And then obviously they're happy to have Rachel St. Clair back for the Royals. St. Clair parked in front of the net. Same crew, including Swedberg on the kill for BSM. Swedberg, Sydney Simone, Megan Cornell, Julia Stellis. Those are our participants, and a nice job dropping that right pad and keeping that left one plumb against the bar to stop that angle for DiGiulio here. You see the Royals operating, and a nice wrist shot thrown on net there, and DiGiulio did a really nice job to hold her ground and pull that right pad over to close it up. 1:20 remaining in the Royals power play as they try to add to their 2-0 lead. Back to the top of the umbrella for Bazal. Bazal just works it with Boyd back and forth. Wrist shot thrown on net. Haven't seen him pass even one time over to Kate Glover. They've got one of the things that's unusual is they've got Glover as a right-handed shooter. Not unusual. They've got her on the left side, so her stick is more towards the middle, and the same thing with Boyd. So here's Glover off the face-off win, back to Bazal. Red Knights in a nice square box offensively. Julia Stellis stopped the angle of the shot, and it was thrown wide by Boyd. Hard slap shot thrown on net by Grace Bazal with a lot on it. She kept it low to the ice. But DiGiulio threw that pad down beautifully. Still 40 seconds remaining in the power play. Back to Bazal, pinching in from top of the umbrella there. She does have it hit as the Red Knights were able to change their forward units. And they've got Maggie Connery out there. And Maggie going to try to block the Bazal shot. Here's Boyd again. That wrist shot hits Julia Stellis and goes harmlessly into the corner. Grace Peluso harassing one of the harassing one of the Royals players in front of the net. Here's Glover, 360. And a hard slapper again, hard over the net by Bazal with that cannon of a slap shot. And that's going to be pretty much it for the power play. So Crystal Sorum back on the ice for BSM. And here's a break. Oh, and 2 opportunities out front. Nicely done by Kylie Hanley, getting some help as well from Rachel St. Clair as you watch the Paula play. There's the Hanley backhand. She's knocked to the ice cleanly. And then a couple of the BSM girls are not so fast to to greet Miss St. Clair with a happy smile. So Rachel St. Clair, as we mentioned for Hopkins, out the last 6 games as one of their leading scorers. They're just thrilled to have her back. So Looks like the second units are going to be out there for both teams. Dr. Haberman and Sween line. And here is Swedberg off the faceoff win. Nice cross-ring pass to the middle. Unfortunately for her, she wasn't able to get, Connery wasn't able to get a lot on that to bring it in. Swedberg behind her own net. Dips it out front and all the way down for the Royals. Pursuing with an aggressive forecheck was Haberman there for the Royals. Swedberg with a 2-on-2 here. She falls harmlessly to the ice as she lost an edge there, and then another skater goes to the ice as that was Connery also went. Taken away here, and here is Doctor, 1-on-2. We'll see if Hope can add to her total. Hope Doctor goes to the backhand. Going to be knocked away there by Truman. And whacked in the corner by Megan Cornell, who clicks it up the boards. And Sammy Dieterding able to get it out. Here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Crystal Sorum, wrist shot, thrown high on. Oh, wow, what a beautiful save as Crystal Sorum for BSM, who already has 16 goals on the season, had a 2-on-1 with Grace Peluso there. She goes to the high wrister, and a beautifully executed save by Molly Dion, and great camera work as she got the glove up high. And obviously Peluso was right there to try to tack in that garbage. So Benilde's already put 3 shots on goal in the second period, and Hopkins 5. So Benilde up to 4 for the game. After the face-off win, here's Hanley. Hanley for the Royals gets it to the middle. St. Clair operating out front, tries to work with Hanley to get it all the way down, but it's going to be thrown harmlessly all the way back down behind Dion in the Royal zone. Stopping behind her net cleanly is Bazal. She made an excellent pass there, but unfortunately hit off Hanley's stick and is going to go all the way down, and that's going to cause an icing here. We mentioned 3 of the Hopkins Royals have committed to Division I schools next year. Take a watch for number 5, as we mentioned, Corbin Boyd, full ride to Mankato. Also, also number 2, Rachel St. Clair, going to Middlebury in Vermont. And then also Grace Bazal, number 6, who we've got called a lot. She's going to Boston College. So 3 big players for the Royals, and of course playing in the Lake Conference schedule against the Edinas and Wayzatas and Minnetonkas, where they've been really competitive. Of course, the Royals have been in 3 state tournaments themselves, including as recently as 2010. Back to live action. Hopkins retains possession, and this is Patterson going to dump it down low. Looks like she's got Hanley down in there in the corner. Hanley trying to battle hard. And shipped out by Heather Mostrom. And here is Hanley again as she gets the pass from Glover at center ice and throws it on net. So Gretchen Patterson. We should mention the Patterson sisters, number 28 for Hopkins, Gretchen Patterson. And she's a senior defenseman. And Annika Patterson, a freshman forward, number 4 on that top unit. Wrist shot thrown towards the net, hits a couple of bodies out front. A couple of players go hard into the corner, including Peluso. Backhand opportunity and a nice clean breakout for BSM. Sorum goes to the backhand again. Puts it on the forehand and throws it harmlessly on net. Royals going to regroup and rush with speed down the middle. Here's Bazal, Grace Bazal. Not a lot of help out front, but she does backhand it. And makes her way to the bench as well to finish the change. Peluso operating in the corner. Chips it on up the short wall here to Sammy Dieterding. Sammy has it taken away, thrown out front to Boyd. Nice job catching that pass beautifully out of the air and using the stick. Throws the backhand on net. And here's a break for Benilde-St. Margaret's as Sydney Simone throws that hard and on the net and almost goes off the glove of Dion. And a beautiful shot by Simone with speed. Sydney, as we mentioned, a junior for BSM, and she's got 14 goals on the season. Here is Simone in the corner being harassed by Glover. Swedberg going to help out Simone. Simone with another wrister goes high over the crossbar, and a big takedown out front, as unfortunately for the Red Knights, Maggie Connery was tripped up that time by Gretchen Patterson out front. 6 players on the far wall here, but Simone going to come out with the puck again. And a nice pinch up that time from her D spot was number 23 for the Red Knights, Gabby Hewson. Hewson playing catch in with her defense partner, Megan Cornell. Cornell, the sophomore blue liner, getting some help there, and a nice wrist shot by Connery, and Dion's going to hold that at the 9:29 mark here. If you're just joining us, this is Section 6AA quarterfinal hockey action. It's winner go home time. Here, take a look at the Simone break here. Sydney Simone, hard wrist shot, kind of handcuffed Dion, and not a, if there would have been anybody on the back door there, that puck rolled on the other side there as it went through Simone. Hit her glove and part of her blocker, I think. Gazal again, right towards middle ice, and you can see why she's got 23 goals, even though she's a defense woman. Number 6, Grace Bazal, as we mentioned, there she is. She's headed to Boston College. Grace works to the middle. We mentioned she's going to get about 30 minutes a game out there, so seen a lot of ice already as she's out there with, looks like Brettingen out there as well, whose brother Joey Brettingen was a big-time player for the Royals boys team. Off the face-off, stolen away by Boyd again. Boyd cross rink out front, followed by Rachel St. Clair, and Rachel not able to finish, but she does make a good opportunity. She was harassed with a nice back check. Offside going to be whistled here. Great play, as I got to make sure I make a commendation on this. I believe that was Amanda Olson for Hopkins who led in, as you see Rachel's follow on that play. St. Clair throws it right low, and the left pad was what made the save that time for DeJulio. Sydney Sorum on the draw again, as both first lines just matched up a lot against each other, but this will be the second unit for Hopkins. Defensive partners play catch in their own zone and ship it up the short wall to Stephanie Sween. Sween had possession momentarily before Cornell took it away. Gabby Hewson chips it up to Swedberg. Swedberg cross ice here. Oh, unfortunately, wasn't able to get it through to Connery. Glover and Connery into the corner there. Nice forecheck by the Red Knights results in another possible opportunity. Here she is again, Sydney Simone, wrist shot. She went for the short side up high. She had her spot picked, but a nice blocker save, followed by Swedberg, whose backhand goes high over the net. Good pressure by BSM. Coach Herbst obviously lit a fire in the locker room, and the Red Knights have 7 shots on goal halfway through the second period here. So they've actually it's been a 9-7 shot advantage only for Hopkins the first half of this period, where the Royals had a 14-1 advantage in the first period. So what looked like it might be a Hopkins runaway early now has really tightened up. And there's the Simone. Well, you can see her nice camera work as she goes for the short side, and the beautiful use of the blocker by Dion there. Nicely done from Marcel. No relation to, I believe there was a famous Dion who played for the Los Angeles Kings, but back in my day in the 70s and 80s. Maybe that wasn't my day, I'm not sure. Here's Rachel St. Clair, right-handed shooter, gonna cross rink it over there. Kylie Hanley had it hit off her stick on the backhand and go into the corner. Pinch up that time by the Royals as Flory was able to hold it in, but just for a second. Julia Stellis works around her net and throws it off, tries to throw it off the plexiglass, but instead gives a nice souvenir to a Hopkins fan who looks okay in the third row over there. I'm taking a look. Yeah, must be okay because the puck got thrown back on the ice. In the NHL, of course, that would have been a penalty if you shoot it over the high plexiglass. They interpret that as an on-purpose thing, and you usually get a penalty, but no go in high school or college usually. Off the face-off win, Cornell wraps it all the way behind her net and up the boards on the far side. Haberman out there with, looks like Sween and Doctor out there still as well. Gretchen Patterson going to pursue the puck in her own zone and get a stick on it. She stops it behind the net for the Royals momentarily. Doctor has that puck in front. Held it again on a nice offensive zone forecheck by Swedberg, harassing Patterson. Swedberg down there battling hard, number 7 for BSM. Patterson just going to backhand it up the short wall, but unfortunately Cornell going to hold that in for the Red Knights. Battle out front, and for the Royals, Hope Doctor just going to slam it hard off the dasher board. No intent on putting that on net, and Hope's going to peel off to the bench to finish the Royal change. St. Clair being trapped over there by Houston. St. Clair works it behind the net. She's got one of her friends, I believe that's, I'm sorry, I believe that was Amanda Olsen out there. Thrown off by Glover, and Glover's wrist shot goes high to the side and then behind the net. Glover going to try to hold it again. She falls down. Might be a 2-on-1 for BSM. And a nice job that time by Patterson, able to get back and prevent the BSM 2-on-1. Cornell still out there for the Red Knights on D. Chips it to her partner, Houston, behind the net, but Houston being harassed as well. Houston being harassed by Hanley. Hanley and Boyd out there for the Royals in a scrum of players. But is going to be taken away by the Red Knights. And here again, whoa, hard behind the play. Number 21, Crystal Sorum went down hard as two players are battling on the backside, harassing each other. And Crystal Sorum and number 15 for the Hopkins Royals, excuse me, number 15 for the Hopkins Royals, which I don't have a number for, or name for. No 15 listed. They were harassing each other. You see him fall there, and then unfortunately, what nobody got to see was then another Royal player, which was 15, hooked up with Sorum and harassed her again, and they grabbed each other's stick. So chip down behind the Royal net. Bazal going to chip it up the wall, get some help from her friends. 2-on-3 and a nice back check that time by Maggie Connery. Swedberg going to get a wrist on Bazal. As Patterson peels to the bench, and the first unit is out there in full for Hopkins. Swedberg just going to dump it down. Her crew follows off, and the second line comes on out for BSM. Pass over to Connery, misses. And a nice job that time by Corbin Boyd, just to wait for her partner to get back on side and then hit her. Glover pinches in from her D spot, still has the puck. Nice cross-ring opportunity to Patterson. She had to wait for Patterson to get on the ice off the change, and she did so beautifully. 4 players behind the Red Knight net. They're battling for the puck. Taken away by Julia Stellis, defenseman for BSM. Stellis with 2 goals and 6 assists on the year for the junior. And here is Sorum again. We mentioned Crystal, also just a junior. She'll be back as part of the Red Knight Brigade next year. Glover starts it out. Here's Rachel St. Clair. She's 1-on-4, but that doesn't seem to slow her down at all. But she does lose the puck off of her stick. But unfortunately for BSM, Maggie Connery had that hit off her skates, and Hopkins was able to dump it back down. And icing going to be whistled here. We mentioned earlier for BSM, they have a real young team relatively. On the first unit, Swedberg and Connery are seniors, but the second unit of Peluso, Sorum, and Dieterding is a 10th grader, an 11th, and a 9th. Their entire third line is going to return with Ellie Barr, Mandy Nylander, Ingrid Lundberg out there. And obviously Megan Truman coming back on D as a 9th grader. Cornell, who we've seen a ton, number 15 is only a sophomore for BSM. Mostrom, number 6, only a junior. Brown and Houston out there. Houston's obviously a young gun as well. And DeGiulio, obviously only a junior in net too. Back to live action, 2:35 remaining in the second period here. Here's Grace Bazal stick handling like a wizard through the Red Knight defense. And throws it on net for the wrist shot. Yeah, when she goes to Boston College next year, it should be fun to see her operate, as she can really stick handle the puck, and we've seen a cannon of a slap shot from her, as well as a nice wrist shot here. Defensively, I saw her take out a few BSM players against the boards, and she seems to enjoy the physical game as well, so those are things that'll bode well for her as she goes into college. Crystal Sorum for Benilde hanging out at the far blue line, trying to cherry pick. Sorum gets the puck over. Oh, nice save by Dion as Ellie Barr, I believe that was Ellie, came out on the ice and threw a nice wrist shot for the sophomore Barr. Sorum was, as I mentioned, was cherry picking on the far blue line. She received a long home run pass, and then Ellie Barr threw it on net. So Dieterding on the back check for BSM, but here's St. Clair again as she's got some help, and cross ice unable to hit is Corbin Boyd as she was checked beautifully off the puck that time. Boyd behind the net. Sorum just going to chip it out to Dieterding, who's checked from behind and goes down hard with Sammy Dieterding. Another break here. Sorum tried to almost had a 2-on-1, but she's able to maintain possession and keep it in the zone, but her pass goes awry, and it's taken away by Kylie Hanley. Kylie just going to throw it in, and their unit going to change as well for the Royals. Looks like the Red Knights are constantly trying to swing one forward behind one of the defensemen now to actually set up a player. And here is Swedberg. Set up a young lady at the far blue line to try to get an opportunity with a long pass from their defense people. As they're down 2 goals, but as I mentioned, they have put a lot of pressure on. Patterson, and chip it high off the plexiglass. I don't think that's going to go far enough for icing. Indeed, it's waved off. A nice pursue that time by Stephanie Swede. She made the Red Knight defenseman go hard after that puck, and that caused her to not have an icing whistled on her own team. So nice job for Swede. Glover chips it on up. Ooh, Dieterding gets caught in a mess there. She gets her stick caught, and Sammy goes down hard. Stellis behind the net. She lost the puck for BSM. Thrown out front, I believe that's St. Clair again, who tried to backhand it. No, I apologize. That was Hope Doctor, tried to get that in as well. Doctor pursuing the puck, number 8, with good speed towards center ice. She's got 1 goal already on the game. Hope throws it into the Benilde zone. Oh, nice job by Hanley. Is she able to get a glove on that, hold it in, and work it over to her partner there, as Corbin Boyd had a great point-blank opportunity. Sorum goes the other way, but Cornell nicely gets a stick on it and causes an offside. Only 2 seconds remaining in the second period here, and we haven't had any scoring after 2 goals in the first period by Grace Bazal and Hope Doctor for the Royals, and a 14-1 shot advantage for Hopkins in the first period. The shots really, it's only been 10-8 in the second period in favor of Hopkins. It makes it 24-9 overall. But if you saw the first period and then you watched the second, you saw Coach Herbst for BSM obviously went to the well and had a lot of things that he must have addressed in the locker room, and he'll have to see what kind of bunny he can pull out of his hat in the locker room to get at least 1 goal to make it a 1-goal game. We mentioned for BSM, Coach Herbst won a state title back at Hibbing High School in '73 when it was still a 1-class system. Played at Wisconsin, used to coach at Cooper. And Chris Erickson, somebody I know the Royals head coach, is assisted by his son Tyler and Karen Axtell. Chris was an old Edison product who has the pleasure, the Hopkins Red coach Chris Erickson, had the pleasure of coaching Zach Parisi and Tom Gilbert in their youth days. He coached Zach for a couple years in the Bloomington program, and I know what pride he has that both Zach Parisi and Tom Gilbert made it to the show. So just a little information there. So anyway, before we step away for the end of 2 periods, once again, if you do want to get a copy of this game or any of the other events that Paul puts on and our crack crew, you can go to parktv.org always. You'd obviously use the internet. You don't have to have cable or even be in the park to watch the games on live web streaming. We don't often have, the games that we generally have on for live web streaming would be boys hockey games generally at the rec center and girls hockey games. But you can always find out the replay times by going to ParkTV, and then of course if you want to order a DVD of this game or any games. And I want to promote the YouTube channel. Paul does a great job, along with working with Scott Smith, of promoting all the replays, which is the on-demand feature that he's got up there. The YouTube City channel is absolutely fantastic. And Paul, there must be 500 things up there between council meetings you tape and everything else. So take advantage of that. It's a great resource in St. Louis Park. We should mention as well, season ended last night for the St. Louis Park girls hockey team as the Orioles lost to #1 seed and #1 ranked Blake here in Section 5A. Blake Bears, one of the 2 favorites to go to the state tournament and do well this year. So hats off to Coach Charlie McChesney and the Orioles. Charlie, somebody that's in his first year at the Realm, and Orioles won 9 games this year. And I know Paul and John Basil were involved in the broadcast Wednesday when the Orioles got that win against Minneapolis. So glad they can have that on the DVD, and hopefully good memories, and the numbers continue to grow for both the girls and boys programs at Park. So we're going to step away for some PSA announcements, but on behalf of our crew here, stick with us for the 3rd period here at Benilde and Hopkins, Section 6AA hockey.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
It takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
You just don't see just the person's soul is like gone.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Nothing lead as we hit the 3rd period. Welcome back to Parade Ice Garden for the 3rd period here. We just are underway, just a few seconds, as the Hopkins Royals with 2 first-period goals are clinging to a 2-0 lead. It was a close, competitive 2nd period. And Grace Gazal going to run into her own zone behind her net and sweep down there for the Royals as she tries to break it out. Called her name a lot. Nice pass to Corbin Boyd. Corbin looking out front, throws it out front to Rachel St. Clair. Just a little wide on that connect there. We mentioned Coach Erickson really happy that St. Clair could come back and play today. St. Clair, the Middlebury commit, with 12 goals and 14 assists on the year. Held in again this time by Gretchen Patterson for the Royals. With a shout out to Jake Evers, former St. Louis Park, really great athlete in baseball and hockey, who assisted with the boys program at Park for years, and then also the last 3 years with Donnie Williams in the girls program at Park. Jake was able to, he's one of the big assistants for the Armstrong Cooper girls team, and they're going to be playing here next, so I had a nice chance to visit with Jake. Good to see him. Off the face-off, Grace Peluso gained control immediately and worked it to center ice, but wasn't able to push it into the blue line here. Cordell has to get back quickly on defense for the Red Knights, and here is Megan Truman behind the BSM net. Truman cross rink over to Cornell. Megan's only a 9th grader on defense for BSM, so another one of the kids that'll be back. Gazal cross rink, this time to Hanley, Kylie Hanley. Number 10 with some speed. She beats Truman for a second to Bazal. Bazal with a stop and go move. She throws it out front and it hits off one of the BSM sticks and goes in the corner. Thrown on net and a beautiful save, and even a better cover by Anna DiGiulio there, as the wrist shot from the point, goes right into Anna's chest, and Johnny on the spot there was number 5. I think that was Corbin Boyd out front along with Rachel St. Clair. They would have got any garbage that fell. Swedberg, cross rink. Red Knights try to get a break here. As we mentioned, they were sending a winger down to the far blue line, almost in what's called a cherry pick, where you're actually just trying to get a free break all the way down and get your forward behind the defenseman so you can get a long home run pass to the forward. We'll see if Benilde tries to do that more. Of course, Hopkins and Coach Erickson will be really watching for that in the 3rd period. winner of this game is going to get the winner of the next game, as this is the 4 and 5 seeds, and the winner's going to get to take on Minnetonka, and I believe that's on, Paul's got the schedule, but I believe it's on Wednesday at 5:30 here. So Wednesday, February 11th, it's semifinals, 5:30 if Benilde or, well, whoever wins will play at 5:30, and then there's another game at 7:30 on the 11th. So special day for me. So not because of the hockey necessarily. We're going to have a delayed penalty called on Hopkins here. There was a trip at center ice, and Peluso is going to lose control, but that is going to put the Red Knights, I believe, on a 2-minute power play advantage at the 14-14 mark. It looks as though Annika Patterson can get saddled number 4. And watch what happens here. Here's Annika trying to harass Crystal Sorum, and there you see just a trip towards center ice. She loses her stick as well, and Crystal goes down hard. So Patterson in the box here, and the Red Knights with Swedberg out there as well as, Simone. And then you've got Grace Peluso. Here is Simone behind her own net, gives it off to Megan Cornell. Cornell looking, she hits it over to Crystal Sorum. Sorum breaks the Royal zone, throws it on net. Nicely clicked off to the side by the goaltender, Dion. Simone. Sorum. Nicely done there by Corbin Boyne as she was able to knock it out for Hopkins. Here's Sorum again, though. She brings the puck right back in. Swedberg with the follow. Zanny with some good size and speed, controlling things with 1:15 remaining in the power play. Cornell. Cross rink. Wrist shot thrown on there, and a beautiful glove save, and then turned away into the corner as Simone's shot did not rattle the back of the twine. Cross wing, Cornell again with just under 50 seconds remaining in the power play. Benilde really in need of a goal here. Oh, Cornell backhanded out front. Looked like she had, I believe that was Crystal Sorum on the back door, just trying to knock that in, but unable to do so. And skating with the puck, Corbin Boyd in her own zone, and she turned around fully. And then they throw it all the way down, and that'll take it at 30 seconds. Oh, DeGiulio goes out to try to play the puck. She falls down, and it would have been a devastating play for the Red Knights as, number 8, Hope Doctor, was going hard on that play. And there's a nice sequence as Crystal Sorum chipped it over to Zanny Swedberg, and Zanny kind of redirected it. Watch what happens here. Here's DeGiulio goes out, she tries to stop it, and then she tries to backhand it to herself, and then she falls down. Of course, the only problem there was Hope Doctor didn't have any help. If she would have had anybody at all breaking, it would have been a wide open net to throw that puck into and make it a 3-goal game. Just 5 seconds remaining in the power play, and that'll just about do it here. So Patterson back for the Royals, and the Royals at full strength here. Benilde down 2-0. It's win or go home. Single elimination. Maggie Connery goes behind the net. Connery works it out to the point. Chip behind that time by Stellas. Houston gonna carry it back into her own zone, backward skating. Plays catch with her partner. Bazal looking for Boyd on the far side, and she's got Boyd on the diagonal pass. Corbin wheeling around the net. No, she passes it and hits off a Red Knight skate. Now back to Boyd at the point. I was able to hold it in as she got that by Grace Peluso. And here is Hanley again. And here is Sorum with some speed, right-handed shooter, Crystal Sorum. 2-on-2, but a nice defensive zone back check by Rachel St. Clair. Opportunity that time goes awry. And here is Hanley, 2-on-2. Hanley going to the backhand, and then she almost gets it through there to Peluso, to DeGiulio, and DeGiulio was able to hold that, and make the defensive play for the Red Knights. Here's Glover, whose brother Jack is starring for the University of Minnesota, number 24. Kate Glover, his older brother Jack, of course, played in the Minneapolis Storm program when he was going to Benilde, and having a nice career for the Gophers so far, although their season isn't going well. Here's Annika Patterson behind Red Knight net, and ooh, a big fall there as number 15, number 15 Megan Cornell and number 8 Hope Doctor went down really hard. Now here is Simone going to the net. Simone, you only seen 2 lines pretty much the whole game for BSM as well. Just a handful of players have seen ice for the Royals as they're just generally using 2 lines. I think this is St. Clair with the puck. No, I apologize. Whoa, what a hard slap shot, as that was a beautiful gasser by Hope Doctor, who's got 1 already on the game. Doctor and St. Clair are both small, more diminutive right-handed shooters playing forward for the Royals. Glover tries to get it out herself, plays it to her friend St. Clair. St. Clair has it held in against her wishes, and 3 Red Knights are trying to dig it out against St. Clair, as well as, I don't know the other number of that young lady. Oh, Patterson. And Hopkins is able to finally get that out. And Kylie Hanley's slapper goes wide. Boyd again. A nice shot. Corbin Boyd going right to left, shoots it back against the grain, and a nice left-handed glove save. Might have gone wide, but DeGiulio did a nice job getting the glove on that. And with just 9:06 remaining, Benilde needs 1 goal first, 2 to tie. We'll see if they make any other offensive zone changes. Oh, there's something important. A nice drop-down pad save by DeGiulio keeps it at 2. Megan Cornell. Nice breakout pass. Fortunately, Swedberg couldn't click with Simone as she tried to get a clean pass to her partner. Cornell has that stolen away in her own zone, but Benilde takes it right back. Swedberg on her forehand, still being harassed. She gives it up to Simone, who's being harassed by Grace Bazal. And it looks like we're going to have another penalty whistled. I think this is going to be on Hopkins for a cross check right in front of the Red Knight zone, or Red Knight goalie, or excuse me, the Benilde goalie. And unfortunately for the Royals, just what the doctor ordered for Benilde, but I believe that's number 11. Is that correct? Number 11 for the Hopkins Royals. Okay. So that's Michaela Flory, the defense lady for them, is going to get saddled for the cross-check. Back to another power play for Benilde, their second of the period, and they really need one here. Simone got only a part of that on the slap shot attempt, and Glover was able to step up and make that save with her skate almost and then break it out. So here's St. Clair just going to try to hold it in the zone, 1-on-2, but Rachel just trying to hold the puck. St. Clair, the Middlebury recruit, goes hard against Cornell. Cornell still not able to cleanly break it out. Now she does so to Simone. Cross rink to Sorum. 3-on-2 Red Knights. Crystal Sorum goes to the forehand. Ooh, throws it towards the net, and Dion had that handcuff her just momentarily. She tried to use that glove really low and was able to get a piece of it, but 1:10 remaining in the power play for BSM. Swedberg checked off the puck, thrown out front accidentally, as I believe that hit a Hopkins player and just bounced right in front of the net momentarily, but nobody was there to follow. And that, a lot of action out front as the shots are going fast and furious, and it looked like in that sequence, Maggie Connery had a nice shot from the point. Swedberg tried to follow with the rebound, but there was a lot of bodies out front. Good screen action on Dion, the Hopkins goalie. She was definitely had her vision impaired. Just 30 seconds remaining in the power play. Benilde yet to get really a lot of offense generated, a little bit on the last one. Here's Julia Stellis also going to the forehand, shoots it wide. And Maggie Connery in there. Here's Sorum again. Another chance and a follow and a third opportunity and a backhand. Wow, and Crystal Sorum is one young lady for the Red Knights who's really wore the hard hat tonight. And here you see Crystal flipping the puck, number 21, to the official. Look at how she stick handles, and then she chips it, she follows, and then if you watch the play, she gets knocked down. The puck's partially underneath her, and she whacked at it with her stick, but nicely done by Dion to make sure she had the post controlled there. 10 seconds remaining still in the power play, but that'll just about do it as Corbin Boyd was able to make an aggressive back check against Gabby Houston that time, and that'll put a face-off all the way down in the Red Knight zone. So 6:30 is all that remains in the Red Knight season unless they can get 2 goals and at least tie it up here. Unfortunately, not sure exactly what the power play success rate was for the season for BSM, but I know it wasn't where Coach Herbst ideally would want it, so 5 players still battling behind the net. Nobody can get it out. And now here's Sammy Dieterding, and she's going to backhand it, and unfortunately, Coach Herbst kind of shaking his head over there. Sammy just backhanded it kind of aimlessly all the way down, and it was an icing was called. So got to know where you are. Got to make sure you hit that red line before you backhand it. So 5 against 5 as Boyd and Simone meet, as they have all game on faceoffs. 2 top centers for each team. Boyd being harassed by Stellis, still operates with the puck. We mentioned that Hopkins, their last 2 regular season games were against Minnetonka, the #1 team in the state, and Maple Grove, the #3 team in the state. They only lost to Maple Grove 3-2 in their last game, so I don't think as a 4 seed, Hopkins by any means is certainly dangerous to beat any of those teams, and a potential team that could make the state. The Royals are ranked 14th, so very intelligent, well-coached hockey team. Chris Erickson, 30 years as a coach at different levels, and his son Tyler, who was a star player at Holy Family. Whoa, and Stellis with a hard check behind on one of the Royals behind the BSM net. Check the number for who that, oh, that was Hope Doctor goes down. Hope went down hard. It was really, I don't know if we have the replay of that, but Hope got really kind of crushed that time on that sequence behind the Benilde zone. And she's not exactly the biggest of foot, #8 for Hopkins, but she did find the number of that train that hit her, so. It was all passing it, trying to pass it to herself against the boards. Houston gonna hold it in, and Dieterding tries to get it to Sorum. Haberman there, and a shot and a goal as Crystal Sorum. We've called her name all night long at number 21 for the Red Knights, Crystal Sorum. Again, as it's Red Knight fever here on the Benilde part of the bench. You see just kind of a harmless play, but watch Crystal Sorum punch in here. There she works it towards the middle and just wrist shot. I don't know if I hit a stick out front. If ball, I can't really tell on a redirect there. But at 4:45 remaining in the third, a goal makes it 2-1, and we're a nice screen out front. And Dion was down really low and down early there. She gave a lot of the net up there. So shooting high, a good thing to do perhaps as in the last 4 minutes. No official, yeah, that Crystal Sorum's goal officially credited as an unassisted goal, although nicely done in the corner for Hopkins to, or excuse me, nicely done by Benilde to keep it in. Here's Houston at the red line, going back and forth, and ooh, Kylie Hanley went down really hard. She's holding her hip as well as her hand, it looks like. Really having a tough time moving, number 10. And there's Kate Glover just using nice positioning, number 24, to ride the Red Knight forechecker off the play here. Here is Boyd. Corbin throws it on net, and a nice save by DeGiulio. DeGiulio's made officially 29 saves, as Anna's seen, you can see there, she's seen 31 shots. 17 officially for BSM, so we're at 2-1 here, and just under 4 minutes to go. That's just what Benilde needed, and Crystal Sorum had played an excellent game. For Crystal, officially, it was her 17th goal of the season. 17 goals, 15 assists for the junior Crystal Sorum. So she'll be back as well with Peluso and Dieterding on her line there. Here is Dieterding. Tries to get an angle to find Sorum, but not able to do so. Nice back check and a nice position play by Stephanie Sween as she chips it in. Sween out there. Here's Flory defensively. Trying to watch Dieterding, make sure Dieterding can't pursue the puck. Sammy behind the net, tried for the forecheck, but wasn't able to get a stick on it. And Swedberg harasses Patterson. Swedberg has that go off her stick. And Grace Gazal just going to carry it out. Hits the red line, now hits the blue line with some speed. Grace goes to the middle. Nice shot and a beautiful save. And now the other way with Swedberg along with Simone out there and Connery. Connery helping Swedberg on the side here. Simone going to forecheck. Number 5 into the corner for Benilde. Gazal back checking her off, and Connery goes hard. Connery with a hard offensive zone forecheck, and I believe that was number 2, Rachel St. Clair, just back from an injury, who went hard into the boards. So both teams going to get just over 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the game. BSM needs a goal to tie it up here. We'll watch their net, and we're going to have a hand pass called. We'll kind of watch both the coaching staffs to see. Obviously, you have a timeout in each bench that can be used, and we'll see if either Coach Herbst or Coach Erickson for Hopkins chooses to use their timeout here. Boy, Paul, I must be psychic. Indeed, I say that, and then within 3 seconds, there's the timeout. Okay, maybe I'm not psychic, but so it should be an exciting finish here and a good game we could bring to you here on Park 16. You see the winner obviously is going to get Minnetonka at 5:30. Minnetonka, the number 1 team in the state. That's Wednesday, February 11th. If you're a high school girls hockey fan at all, come on out here Wednesday night, and then the finals on Friday. Because even the second game, which will probably be Wayzata against Maple Grove, is kind of like the number 3 team in the state, and Maple Grove against Wayzata if things hold true. And of course, you talk about the strength of this section, Paul, as he leaves that up. North Metro won the state title back in 2000 with Chrissy Wendell, if everybody remembers her, who went on onto the Olympic team, as well as the Gophers. So you got all kinds of teams that have had state tournament appearances, state championships, state runner-up finishes. So next up here on Park 16, I want to make mention on Tuesday night on the 10th of February, Bruce Hoberman back in the seat where he needs to be, as he's going to call the action as the St. Louis Park boys basketball team on Tuesday night hosts Benilde-St. goes to Benilde-St. Margaret's for the rematch. And Benilde wants some revenge, as the Orioles won last time in overtime. So exciting battle this Tuesday, February 10th, if you can make it over to BSM. Inter-city battle. Off the face-off win, unable to clear are the Royals, but unable to hold it in is Stellis. Boyd just going to stop and play catch in her own zone. Royals just happy to just dump it in, and that's what Gretchen Patterson does. Cornell, backhand opportunity. She throws it over to Connery, and Connery trying to break it out here. Simone and Connery, but a nice back check by Boyd that time, and Boyd with a nice check on Stellis as well. Kate Glover, fans on that opportunity, taken away, now works out back to the point. Stellis doesn't have an angle to shoot, but that puck's going to be launched all the way down, and now we have the net empty for BSM, as indeed Anna DiGiulio came racing to the bench with about 1:30 remaining. You can see we've got 1:22 left. So goalies pulled. Benilde has to score or their season's over, and it looks like the Royals are going to use their timeout now. So everybody wants to have their best players fresh and talk strategy. Obviously, if you're Royals coach Chris Erickson, you don't necessarily want to ice the puck here, but you want to win the draw first and foremost, and especially try to neutralize the Boyd, Hanley, and perhaps Boyd, Hanley, and Patterson crew. They might have Doctor out there as well for Hopkins, and for Benilde, I assume they're going to keep the Connery, Simone, and Swedberg line out there with Cornell. Other upcoming events on Park 16. If Benilde does win today, we'll be covering the game on Wednesday night. But we mentioned Tuesday's game, and then when you go to parktv.org, Paul always has a list up when you click on 16 of upcoming games too. So should mention also this week in St. Louis Park sports news, the Oriole boys Nordic ski team won the Section 5 tournament last week. They're going to be appearing up in Bawabik as one of in the state tournament for Nordic skiing. They're led by Sean Cork. If you're not familiar with Sean, he's considered one of the 10 best Nordic skiers in the United States for his grade. He's an 11th grader at Park. So, and I think Park overall is ranked 2nd in the state in Nordic skiing. So a real shout out to St. Louis Park and Sean Cork. And if you know Sean, make sure you give him some credit. He had a, so as we go to the faceoff, he'll soar him on the draw against Boyd. Crystal just going to hold it momentarily, but nicely done by Boyd. She gets it to Bazal, and Bazal just going to use that skate to try to hold the puck and just keep it on. She drops down on her knee as well, and now we're going to get a face-off. So that was nice to see as Bazal really had her head up there. She had 2 red knights trying to forecheck her, and she was in her own zone as a defenseman, so she made sure that she dropped down to one knee and had her other skate against the puck to hold it against the boards. Big battle out front, and Boyd and Sorum thrown to the point, held in by Stellis. Stellis works it to Connery behind the net. Connery over to Swedberg. Swedberg has it taken away by Boyd and clicked ahead to Rachel St. Clair. Still 50 seconds remain. Oh, now with the puck is Hopkins, Kylie Hanley. Hanley in the corner with St. Clair. And nice job by Hanley and St. Clair, and they're going to force a defensive zone face-off with no goalie, which means Coach Herbst is going to have to send DeJulio back out with only 41 seconds to go. So tip your hat to number 10, Kylie Hanley, and number 2, Rachel St. Clair, as they do something that you don't often see, forcing a face-off in their own zone with a pulled goalie. So back to the point this time for the Royals, and Bazal just going to chip it behind the net. Same thing as well as you got Hanley as well as, Hanley and St. Clair doing the same thing again. And Julia Stellis cannot knock Hanley off the puck. And these two are doing yeoman's work. And wow. And now we're going to have a possible injury there as number 15, Megan Cornell, was getting so frustrated. Watch number 15 as the puck goes in the corner. Megan is right on your screen. She's going to get really kind of angry, and watch what happens here. Maybe she hit it might have been just a check, and then she hits off the knee of her partner even. I just saw her going into the boards, so hopefully Rachel St. Clair will be okay. We mentioned she missed the last 5 games of the regular season with a partially broken wrist, I believe. So the last thing they want to do if they are going to face, you see that, I don't know if we have a shot of this, but the Hopkins head coach Chris Erickson pretty adamant about talking to, I think that's the official Mark Chupa. Yeah, Mark Chupa he's talking to try to get an explanation of why that wasn't a penalty on a check from behind by Cornell. And I don't think he's happy with what he's hearing. So only 21 seconds remaining. Royals, the last 40 seconds has really been the Hanley and St. Clair forecheck show. Hanley still out there, and another face-off win. And going to chip it behind that. So Benilde just trying to get the puck out even here and not able to do so. And that's almost going to do it as we're at 11 seconds. Cornell again, and you have to tip your hat to the Royals here. 5 players behind the net. They're going to do a face-off. I think that's going to do it. You only got 4 seconds remaining. And for the last 55 seconds, Benilde-St. Margaret's wasn't even able to get the puck out of their own zone. So well done, Hopkins Royals. They'll advance to play on Wednesday here at 5:30 against Minnetonka, the number 1 seed. And I'm sure the Skippers, even though they've won twice against the Royals, there you see the official celebration. The Royals are happy as Dion, the goaltender, Molly Dion, getting swarmed by a mass of players on the far end. And for the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights, their season officially ends with a 9-15-2 record. And you see Paul's already got the updated numbers up, and Hopkins goes to 12-12-1. And for the Royals, as we mentioned, a rematch on Wednesday night, February 11th here with the number 1 ranked Minnetonka Skippers, and more than likely Maple Grove and Wayzata in the second game. So for Coach Herbst, who led the Red Knights to the state runner-up finish last year, disappointing end of the season, but there you see the updated brackets here for 6AA. Don't believe we'll be calling any more of those games, but we will be calling other Park and Benilde activities here. Once again, if you're a St. Louis Park or even a Hopkins fan, I should say today, or Benilde fan, and you want to get a copy of this game, you can certainly do so. ParkTV.org. There's the phone number to call. DVD, and we talked about the city's YouTube page. Once again, really enjoyed bringing this one with you today. On behalf of Paul Broden, our director and Channel 16 manager, this is John Fromm saying goodbye from the Parade Ice Garden.